Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Odds here Wednesday morning, and we have a game today against the Houston Rockets here in Toronto at Scotty Bank Arena. That's right, baby. 7:30 tonight. Houston Rockets, you come get some tonight. Houston Rockets, yeah. I've got all the regular stuff on the preview for you, the injury news, the referee check, keys to the victory, real mascot matchup, all that fun. Let me just check in and see. Monique has been here already this morning, and she has some comments for us already. Let's see what superfan Monique Lawrence is up to this morning, what she's saying. I'm so early. She got here early and commented a bunch. Happy game day. It's Rockets. Should be a wire-to-wire win. It was easily. Good morning. I hope so, Monique. I hope that this is a wire-to-wire win, meaning we have the lead the whole entire game, and it's not very stressful. It's kind of easy, but there's no guarantees with this. Honestly, this is the NBA. On any given night, any one of these 30 teams can rise up and play at an exceptional level and be very hard to beat. So even though they don't have much experience, even though they've only won 2 games so far this year, they're 2-9. They are still very dangerous. They have a lot of young players, and they're very talented. Their starting lineup's interesting. You've got Jalen Green, you've got Eric Gordon, who is a veteran. He's their veteran on their team. They've got Senguin the Penguin is their center. Jabari Smith Jr. as their power forward, their rookie that they just drafted, and then I think it's like Kevin Porter Jr. is the other starter for them. So they have some talent, and they just they're very young. They're very inexperienced. I don't have a lot of faith in their coach in some ways. I like Paul Silas. He's a great coach. His son, he's doing okay. He's had his ups and downs. It's tough for him in some ways, I'll bet. But yeah, this Houston team, hopefully you're right that we just have a wire-to-wire victory where we just have an easy time. But there's no guarantees, and we have to come correctly to do this. We cannot come in and do something like we did when we saw them in preseason in Houston. We had flat energy and we lost. So we've lost the Houston Rockets in the preseason. We'd have to get some get back and not have any of the stupid stuff that we did in that game happen in this game. So I have faith in them, and I really do believe that our Raptors will rise to the occasion and make sure they get the W today in a game they really should get the W. And these games sometimes are tough because you play down to your competition or you don't come up to the game with the right energy because you underestimate the other team. You cannot do any of that, Raptors. The way you came at the San Antonio Spurs last Wednesday is the correct way to come at this Houston Rockets team. That this may be a younger team, a team that has not done well so far this season, but you need to come at them correctly. And if we play as the veteran team, the more experienced team, and we just outvet them in different ways, we out experience them, we will definitely win. I really do believe that. Monique's also saying, I don't know if you know this already, but Serge had Giannis on his How Hungry Are You? And he asked him if he'd come play for the Raptors. I have seen this ad, Monique, that's come out recently about the new season of How Hungry Are You? Serge Ibaka's show. And he has Giannis as his first guest. And that is the teaser. He's showing this clip, I guess, from the Kawhi episode way back when he asked him about staying, and he saw all the buzz that generated from it, the clickbait, the whatever, the clicks. He's going in that style. So he set up this question that is crazy. And like, honestly, they're Bucks. They're both Milwaukee Bucks right now. And if I was Bucks fan, I would be mad at Serge right now. I would be like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Serge Ibaka? Are you like an undercover Raptor agent or something like that? Are you like Kyle Lowry sabotaging the Miami Heat right now? Serge Ibaka soliciting Giannis Antetokounmpo to come play for the Raptors. You go, Serge Ibaka. I think it's hilarious. We do not know what his answer is because it will be revealed in the full episode when it is released. So we don't know what Giannis said to Serge in that question yet. But that's part of how Serge is going to get everybody to watch it, is we got to know. And so we got to see it. So who knows what he says? I just think that it's silly that he did it right now since they're almost undefeated. They've lost like one game this season. And I don't think Giannis wants to go anywhere. He's so happy in Milwaukee these days. We see him walking around talking about, I can't have everything. I'm handsome. I can shoot, but I can't shoot three pointers. I can do all this stuff. I'm amazing, but I can't shoot three pointers. I can't have everything. And then the whole clip about him going around the Bucks facility giving new shoes to people was hilarious also. So it's really, the vibes are really strong in Milwaukee for him to be happy and doing good things, and the record reflects it. So it's like Bucks Nation's probably mad at you, Serge, for this. Like, why would you ask that right now? But we love it up here in Toronto. Raptor Freight loves you asking that question. We want to know. Sure. Thank you, Serge. But yeah, the teams that you guys are getting paid by, the team that you're getting paid by is probably not real thrilled. Monique saying, also the players finally spoke about the Chris Broussard comments of the summer with Sportsnet. Really great to see. Yes, I saw this clip recently. It's really spliced together with not just current Raptors, but former Raptors, different Raptors, a total like audio video collage of Raptors and their feelings about Toronto in a juxtaposition of Chris Bouchard's really asinine comments this summer that really are just kind of out of his ass. And that's what that means, asinine, if you don't know. You look it up in the dictionary, it means it comes out coming out of their ass. But anyway, no, that's not true. But I thought that was funny wordplay. But yeah, that was really nice to see Precious and OG and Chris and different people come in and do interviews talking about their experience in Toronto and how it is. It's really kind of a dumb thing. But Fred had some really good points. Fred was saying, racism exists everywhere. There's racism here in Toronto too. There's racism in Canada. There's racism in both countries. So it's not like we're perfect here. So Fred keeping it real, and I appreciate Fred doing that. All right, here we go. Mike's here from Logical Raptors Fanatic. Check out Logical Raptors Fanatic. He has the best. He is for your truth and information. That is his channel. That is his whatchamacallit, his statement, his channel statement is that he is here to educate and to be honest and to tell the truth about the Raptors. So you go, Mike. Salute Real Ones Project Truth. Yes, Mike, you go. All right, Monique saying news and notes. Raptors are celebrating Nelson Mandela on December the 5th. Awesome. Awesome. I know he's such an important person to a lot of people, especially Masai Ujiri, and that this is an important celebration on December the 5th. So if you're at that game, know that they're going to be celebrating the great Nelson Mandela. Logical Raptors Fanatics saying that point yesterday was about smart basketball IQ fans in New York have seen our team and know we play the right way, bring them in as fans and make some videos. Hence the New York basketball IQ infusion. Yeah, I mean, listen, they don't have the background. I love Chev, and I know that you think Chev is the leader of this Project Truth, and he can be. That's fine, but he hasn't been a day oneer. Chev showed up in 2020, Mike, and you got to understand, I've been here since 95. And that's a whole kind of different level of knowledge and experience with the franchise. So these Johnny come lately New York people, you want them to make a bunch of content? Well, where's the context of time accrued, knowing things about the team? They're New York fans. So sure, they can come in and they can root, but I don't think they really have any bearing on making content for the most part. I mean, unless there's a special case like NBA Chef that can cross over, because I think most New York people may not attract Toronto people to their content in some ways. It may be because of, I don't know. I just don't see it. I think that Chef's a very special case. And that if you think there's going to be some burgeoning crop of young content makers from New York, they're making Toronto Raptors content in New York, I think that's far-fetched. I think that Chev is very much the exception to the rule. Why can't they just have knowledgeable fans? We have knowledgeable fans too. Obviously, we exist, you and I. So yeah, whatever. I don't really get this theory. They can join, but I don't think that they should make content. Let's just put it that way. Tom Duke saying, good morning, go Raptors. Yes, Tom Duke, go Raptors. Let's just win, baby. Let's just win today. Edmund's here. Race Mode Daily. Good morning, freaks. Yes, sir. Leonard Paynes. Yes, good morning. Let's bring the Paynes this morning with your first comment. Love to see you here. Thanks for the subscription, Leonard. And if you have any input on the game today or anything you want to talk about, Raptors related or anything, we can talk anything today. That's fine. Put it in the comments. We'll talk about it. Good morning, Sue. Good to see you. Let's go, Raptors. Let's go, Raptors. Yes, yes. And most saying, I don't like that comment, Mike. Now, Monique, he means well. He just wants more interesting content for the Raptors. And maybe there are New York people that are really good at making content. But listen, listen. I don't think that they have the background or like I said, Monique and I have been here since the beginning. And it really is like you have to be a ride or die through the rough stuff, the really bad stuff throughout time. Chef showed up when it's easy to show up. In some ways, I don't totally respect that. But in some ways, I'm really glad he made that tough jump in New York City to be a Raptors fan when, in some ways he might get a lot of hell from the people around him in New York City for kind of being a turncoat on the Knicks. So yeah, I think he's a very special case, and that you shouldn't expect more NBA chefs mushrooming it up in New York. Seriously, and Chris isn't fully like Chev because he's still Lakers first. Let's see. Isaac saying, great mornings like Mandela. Yes, yes, yes. His story is so incredible and should be celebrated for sure, annually, for sure. I am all about it. When I was a kid, one of my favorite artists was Peter Gabriel. And he had that song Biko, and it was about Stephen Biko. And it's a very similar kind of story. And like there's some music, that music just really brings out of me the struggle that people have been prosecuted and put in jail unfairly in the continent of Africa for different things like that, like Biko and Mandela. And just like, the perseverance of being in the jail sentence for so long and being such a strong statement of perseverance and coming through. He's one of the best role models in recent modern history, Nelson Mandela for sure. Mike saying infusion doesn't mean take over. I mean, like he says what he thinks is true and doesn't care about the extra. He makes great points, is entertaining. So it's a lot of people thinking. I think Chev's a special case, and he's not a normal New Yorker either. You got to get this. He's from Tallahassee too, like me. And you got to understand the common thread between Chris, Chev, and myself is the city of Tallahassee, Florida. It has nothing to do with New York City, baby. In Tallahassee, we tell it like it is with a little fried Southern country euphemisms. And that's why we're so entertaining, is because we grew up, we had spent time in the city of Tallahassee, Florida. Chris, his sports corner, NBA Chev, and myself. It's not New York City. Sure, he has a New York edge, but don't get it twisted. His personality's from Tallahassee. So there you go, Mike. You should be maybe looking at Tallahassee for the burgeoning crop. A lot of those New York people, they are old school. They're Bernard King. They're Patrick Ewing. They're John Starks. They're Charles Oakley. They are those people, and they're never going to change. So don't expect this. I really do believe Chev is the exception to the rule. And just because they're intelligent fans and they like our team, they see that it plays well, doesn't mean they're going to turncoat on it. Some people will bleed orange and blue until they die, as painful as it is. It can be cut by little razor cuts all over their body and still alive. The pain of having a team run by James Dolan. They will never switch. So, Mike, I don't know what this is. Anyway, I want to cut this topic off. If New York fans want to root for the Raptors, go ahead. But don't expect an influx of a bunch of new content from New York about the Raptors. That seems very silly. Edmund saying, kidding. I grew up in New York in the 80s and know the pain of being a Knicks fan. See, race mode's like this, but he grew up there, but he lives here now. He's here in Canada now. So I don't know. It's an interesting idea, but we got to preview a Houston game today, not talk about New York fans. Banana Bread 10 is saying, in your opinion, how did we lose to the Bulls? I think that our natural point guards struggle in our run and gun offense. What kind of adjustment or training do they need to make? I really think the reason why we lost to the Bulls on Monday was more energy not matching theirs. And maybe the trip that we had to make affected us more going from Toronto to Chicago for some reason. It could be that we played them so well on Sunday that we let down our energy coming in and they were way more motivated. Obviously, having a fresh Zach LaVine that we had to chase around didn't help. And we did continue to just go after DeMar. And some people said we left Zach too open by doubling on DeMar too much yesterday. And I kind of agree with that. But it's also kind of, that was just a flat game. Isaac, or Banana Bread Tan, I really kind of just liken it to being this is one of the 82 games where the Raptors just don't have the right energy to win the game because Chicago didn't play well on Monday night and they were ripe to get beat. It's just we didn't have the right effort and the right execution to do it. And that's too bad. It really is too bad. And that may be a game we regret later. But once again, it's very, very tough to win both games in a 2-game series. It's very, very tough. And when you do that, that is an accomplishment. Naco the Nacho saying, real glad OG is in the Defensive Player of the Year race. Maybe I'm missing something, but he should be in first in the voting. He has better defense stats than Smart and Giannis. I agree with this, Naco. But in some ways, look, he said something about it, and now all of a sudden he's appearing in the rankings. So that's something. I think he should be at least second. There is an argument to make that Indicumto is number one and that OG's number two. I hate Marcus Smart being right there. And of course, Boston fans will come in and say, well, look at how he guards different players and how much they score when he guards them. He's one of the best. Y'all don't believe it. Well, I think he's a flop artist and that he does a lot of dirty shit too. And maybe he is a good defensive player, but I think he didn't even deserve the Defensive Player of the Year last year. So I'm like, why? Why do we champion Marcus Smart so heavy in defensive stuff? They should have put OG above him. For sure. I agree with that, but maybe not above Giannis. But we'll have to see. It's really good that he's included. Let's just put it that way. Tom Duke saying Rockets can nail threes at a high clip. Can't leave them wide open tonight. I love this. This is the kind of stuff I love in the comments today. Tom is talking about the game, and he's giving us a good thing to look out for tonight. Here's a key to victory from Tom Duke out on the West Coast. Watch out for their threes. Don't let them get going. Eric Gordon, whoever kept, Jalen Green can really shoot the threes. So maybe we really need to keep track of him. Obviously, he's their leading scorer. He is the engine of their team. And he's somebody, if we can contain as much as possible, it's great. One of the best ways to beat the Rockets is let them shoot a lot of shots and miss a lot because they can be high volume and not efficient. So maybe Jalen Green has a shot, shoots something like a 7 for 28 tonight. That'd be fantastic. Keep him under 10 field goals made, and maybe he shoots like 20 to 30 shots. That would be fantastic because that means he's inefficient. He's missing more than he's making. And that means we're probably on the way the other way and making an easy basket. Yeah, I like it. Let's see. Leslie saying, Lex, you do a great job. I watch Chev and Chris, but you reach the people. Thank you, Leslie. Yeah, I love both those channels. Don't get me wrong, but but this is part of it, the two-way street. I mean, Chev is in the comments. You can talk to him a little bit there, and same thing with Chris. But yeah, this is like right on the moment talking. And like I said, those guys are my people. It's the Tallahassee connection. I'm telling you, Mike, we all went to TCC. Callie's saying, sometimes I feel that Fred feels he has to do it all and is reluctant to pass. Yeah, Callie, I think that's fair. It may be that there's been times in recent years, like the Tampa year, and sometimes last year when he'd be out there with the bench, that he may have felt like he had to do very, very over heavy lifting as far as doing everything for the team. And maybe it's partly that Fred needs to just kind of let it go a little bit more and allow that responsibility to fall on the shoulders of people like OG and Scotty and Gary. And that this is something that he has to practice and say, okay, it's all right. These guys are capable, unlike when we were in Tampa, unlike when we had the bench in with me last year. And I can really kind of lay back and let Scotty run the team and let these guys do more. And I don't have to carry as much of the burden. It could be that he has to kind of trust that or kind of remember, oh, these guys are better around me. I don't have to be like I had to last year. And I think that'll help. Monique's saying OG's third in the race. It's great to see. Totally. Yeah, it's awesome. It's so awesome, Monique. And I'm glad he's getting that shine. And it really does coincide with him saying something about it. Obviously, that's all you had to do, OG, is just get on the microphone and say, I deserve to be a Defensive Player of the Year. Now you're on the rankings. All right, let's see what Logical's saying. If you heard the way general NBA fanatics talk and how things are said, it's called cooking, and Chev is a superstar cooker, like on the whole YouTube scene. My point isn't being understood clearly, not gonna lie. Whatever. Well, it's whatever. I don't expect this. Like, I think the crowd will come from here. Why wouldn't it come from Toronto? Why wouldn't it come from this city, baby? This city. We're the most passionate about this team. Sure, Chef can get passionate and he can cook, but he lives in New York. He has never set foot in the city of Toronto. And in some ways, that is a detriment to what he does with his channel. I'm a little bit more on the ground and a little bit on the insider knowledge because I have in proximity to them and different things. Like Chef doesn't know all the secret passages in the Scotty Bank Arena like I do. Chef doesn't know all the ushers in the Scotty Bank Arena like I do. He doesn't know Sadie Campbell on the 300 level that sells pizza. That's one of my best friends for like 20 years. So there's differences here. They're limited from being so far away. I understand what you're saying. They're cookers or whatever. Every team has these kind of people around, and we have one here. I'm one of them. Chev's one of them, and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think that if you're envisioning some sort of golden age renaissance of content coming out of New York about the Toronto Raptors, yeah, I think you should keep waiting. I don't think that's going to happen. Kareem saying, I have Jalen Green on my fantasy. I need him to score 100 points. Okay, good luck with that. You're playing the Raptors tonight, but I also want the Raptors to win by 40. Something's got to give, Kareem. Well, look, this is a great thing, Kareem Thomas. You're in a no-lose scenario. Either the Raptors win and you're happy, or maybe Jalen Green gets a huge stat line and they win, but you at least have a good fantasy night. I don't know. Which one's more important to you, Kareem? Do you want us to contain him? I know I just described the stat line I want for Jalen Green as far as his shooting percentage and field goals. Now, would you be okay with that happen to him? It might wreck your field goal percentage a little bit, but I have a feeling Jalen Green wrecks your field goal percentage to a degree anyway already this season at some points and stuff like that. But good stuff, Kareem. I'm glad you're involved in the fantasy, like that you care and stuff. You guys, some of the people are not playing, and you can tell because they're down near the bottom and they're not making adjustments. But yeah, I can tell who's up there playing. And Kareem, you're in third right now. That's pretty good. Tom's on top. Tom's top-notch team is taken to the name. He is the top-notch team in the league right now. Good job, Tom Duke. Let's see what he's saying. This would be a good win for the Raptors. It's a must win for the good win for the Rockets. It's a must win for the Raptors, in my opinion. I think so. I think that this is the kind of game where it's like you need to beat this team because they're worse than you and take care of business. And this is a trap game to a degree. It's like these are dangerous games because these teams can get a name for themselves by beating a better team like us and get some good feelings going. And we don't want that. Now, the ref crew is a little interesting tonight. So I really hope it'll be fine. And I think it will be, but we'll see. I'll go over them in a sec. Let's see. Tom Duke is saying, why do we have a hard time with Houston 9-4 over the last 13 games? Is that really our record with Houston over the last 13 games? That doesn't seem right. Because in my mind, we've beaten them more often than we've lost to them. Is that really true that we're 9-4? Like we've won 9 and they've only won 4, right? Because it can't be that they've won 9 and we've won 4. There's no way that that's right because we've dominated Houston for years now, for the most part. Like last year, we beat them in both games. So I think you're saying that we won 9 and they won 4, right? And they've only won 4 out of that. That's a pretty good record compared to them. They just steal ones every once in a while. Nako's saying, fun fact, the Raptors played better defense on Steph than the Celtics in the finals. I love this like random fun fact out of the blue that doesn't really pertain to anything we're talking about, but it's just a nice fun fact. Nako the Nacho, you go with random non sequitur fun fact here that, yeah, sure, we played better defense on Steph Curry in the finals than the Celtics last year. I love bragging about that. Thanks for putting those words in my mouth just now. I appreciate that. Callie's saying, I think it's all about taking the best shot, not just chucking them up there. Yeah. In some ways, the Raptors don't care. They want to shoot it. And if it just gets over near the basket, then crash the boards and clean it up. In some ways, they do that these days. That I want them to get more precise, like OG and Gary, and really dial in and look for that non-rim, going right through the twine jump shot, not even touching the rim, like shoo, shoo. Instead, they're just kind of lofting it or chucking it or just throwing it towards a basket and hoping that if they don't make it, one of their teammates is there to clean it up and throw it back down. There is a lot of that going on with our team right now, Callie. I agree. Maybe they need to take it a little more seriously and get dialed in, like OG. Tom Duke saying 100%. I want to see more bully ball. Yeah, we could have bully ball tonight against the Rockets. Scotty and OG should be able to do all kinds of stuff with babies on their back this tonight. Hopefully, Scotty just backing them down and turning around and on that rim. Yeah, that's what we want to see. G saying Fred has been doing that, taking a step back, but Scotty's playing other either through injury or hesitant at times. Passes the ball to Fred and even at end of clock at times. Yeah, yeah, I think you're right, G, that he is trying to let Scotty, but there is something tentative about Scotty right now. Y'all think it's the ankle. I'm still no, it's not his ankle, but you guys probably are right. But yeah, there's something different about Scotty right now that has him not going 100%, like no fear. Like he has at times. And I don't know, maybe he'll look totally different tonight, guys. Maybe this is a perfect kind of game for him to kind of throw his weight around and really kind of say, well, this is starting to be the new Scotty. I'm going to do some bully ball down low and get really overpowering on the Rockets defense. And I'm going to score like 20 to 30 points tonight and really carry water in Pascal's absence. This is the kind of game that's actually good for this because these aren't very veteran experienced team that they're playing. And he may be able to outvet them even as a 2-year player in some ways that makes it easier for him to be successful. So hopefully that's what it is. You play against an experienced team like the Bulls and the Mavericks recently, and that's harder to be successful against because these are good teams that have been around and they may know more in some little intangibles that hurt Scotty in the last couple games. But maybe tonight he can bust it out because the Rockets are just as inexperienced as he is, and he has higher aptitude. Maybe that's what it is right there. Yeah, I can see that. Mike's saying Raps fans have like no clue about the general NBA landscape. I'm just saying, maybe one or two make a channel, not like hundreds. It's percentage based. Maybe one out of those fans out of 5,000. My fans even comments. Okay, well, whatever, man. I mean, if you want to fight for this, that's fine. I don't know, man. It just seems like such a weird theory, and I guess you could be right. Don't put us down like that, though. Raptors fans are just as knowledgeable as New York fans in a lot of ways. I'm a student of the game from the very beginning, Mike. When I was a kid, before the Raptors even existed, I had the NBA encyclopedia. I had a thing that looked like a phone book that had every single player in it from the existence of the NBA. So I studied Jumpin' Joe Fulks and the Philadelphia Warriors, the first NBA champions of 1947. I studied the George Mikan Minneapolis Lakers years. I've studied the Bill Russell Celtics 60s. So that is kind of insulting because there are fans here in Toronto that are just as knowledgeable of the history and the game in those ways. Maybe they don't have the street ball, Rucker Park kind of inner city New York kind of knowledge, but there are a lot of us that are very knowledgeable here also. Maybe there's a higher percentage there. But yeah, I don't know about that because I kind of fit what you're saying right there. The general NBA landscape. Well, I don't pay attention to the rest of the league completely on foot blast, partly because it's the inverse of what they do to us. It's like, okay, I'll just treat them like they treat us. So I'll just make asinine comments without ever watching the Milwaukee Bucks and just say things about them because I'm not paying attention to them like they don't pay attention to us. So it's kind of like that's the counterbalance with what I'm doing. But general NBA knowledge over the history of the game, oh, I have it. I have it. I know most about most players that any of the players that have played in the NBA. Like even shitty players, like way back in the 50s and the 60s. You might be shocked how much I know. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe there will be a percentage of New York people that stand up and start covering the Raptors, but I don't really see the incentive for them. Maybe they won't put two and two together like Chev did and say, "Oh, I get a lot of traffic like this." I don't know. I don't even know why we're talking about this so much. So just let it die, Mike. Please, just let it die. Sometimes you won't let go of something. You just need to let it go. Have the one comment. If it's not really invited or to the stream, just let it go. Don't bring any more comments about it, okay? Because it's really not on topic. It's really your agenda once again, and what you're thinking of, and you're writing your content on. It's not anything to do with the Houston Rockets preview, and that's the problem with this. All right, let's keep going. Banana Bread Tan saying Koloko is who I'm most excited about. However, do you think with him in the lineup, we've sagged on our defensive intensity? I don't think that's the case. In fact, a lot of stats have come out this week that we have really good stats with his presence on the court. that we have a lot of good defensive stats. So it's definitely not that. I think it's more that it has to do with his fouling and then him getting out of his head because of the fouling. Like the difference between the first Chicago game and the second Chicago game was the referees were allowing him to play and he felt comfortable and he wasn't getting in foul trouble and maybe second guessing himself. And he was able to play a little bit more free in his mind and on the court. And in Chicago, he got a couple of quick fouls that kind of shaped him like being a little more like edgy or not edgy, like a little more like not confident in how he plays. And that is really what shapes whether Koloko is going to be good or not that night, is if he's going to get in foul trouble that may take him out very early. So he really does have to work on not fouling or getting the calls, because then he can play freely and out there. And part of it is the refs. The refs may decide we're not going to allow Koloko to just have free reign and do whatever he wants. We're going to rein him in and give him some fouls, rookie fouls that he may not get like in a year or two. But that's part of the learning process of being the NBA. So it's definitely, he does not sag our defense. The stats all say that he's actually a real boon to our defense. And we actually leap over Milwaukee's defensive rating when we have him on the court. When we don't have him in the court, we're like third in the league. But when he's on the court, we're actually absolutely the best defensive rating in the whole entire league. So that's the truth of it right there. Isaac Campbell saying this game is going to be trebuchet. Bench mob needs to attack the rim, the net. Yeah, I'm for that. Chris needs a bounce back game from the game on Monday. He did not have a good game. He had a goose egg. And well, this morning he's posting on Instagram that when things happen through God is when things are the best. So he's really finding his spirituality right now and getting back good in ways inside spiritually. And I think he's going to come back with a good effort. They were posting a lot of clips in the last couple of days. Scotty in particular has really been enamored with his dunk, and he's been posting it on his different social media. Casey Bannerman went out and did an incredible art piece on the dunk that Scotty had on Vucevic the other night. Is beautiful. Go check out Casey Bannerman's accounts. You'll see what I'm talking about, that comic book style of Scotty dunking on Nikola Jokic. Casey Bannerman, you go. One of the best Raptors artists out there. Oh, yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Monique saying, when we think about it, Pascal's 2 weeks will be over before we know it. Think positive. Yes, Monique, that is a Raptor freak mentality. It's like, look, some Raptor fans were getting depressed on Sunday because they heard, oh, Pascal's going to be so gone. And they're all down in the dumps still. Y'all shine a light. Understand we have next man up, and this is an opportunity. As I've said over and over again, whenever there's difficulty or there's controversy or there's some sort of problem, there's always an opportunity. And this is what we got to focus on. The opportunity for young Scott Wayne, OG Anunoby, Gary Trent Jr., every one of the other guys to step up and elevate their games in absence of Pascal Siakam. So I believe this, and I love what you're saying, Monique. It's going to fly by. We have so many games. It's going to go by, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're going to see Pascal show up. And like people on Twitter have said, this could have been a month's injury. Like he could have been out for months, but he's only out for weeks. So we need to be counting our blessings and be grateful and thankful for that it's only a week's kind of injury and not a month's kind of injury. Candy Kush is here. Team Kyrie, baby. Team Kyrie. You know, I will support Kyrie in some ways. He's met with Adam Silver yesterday morning, and he took care of that first little check mark on his 5 things he has to do before he can rejoin the Brooklyn Nets. Well, he went and did the meeting with the commissioner yesterday, and apparently it went successful. So he's got 1 of the 5 done. So we're going to have to see, will Kyrie be able to complete his 5 things to do to stay in the NBA? Because some people are speculating that his career may be over. And I hate to say that, Candy Kush, because you're right. He just made a post, and this is kind of fucked up. I can get behind that kind of logic. I think he's a knucklehead. I think he's stupid. And I think that he needs to be smarter with how he deals with things, because he does put his career in jeopardy. And there's no reason to put this kind of stuff on blast. He can do cool, weird, flat earth stuff that's not as harmful as this one in particular. But yeah, he's fighting for his career, and he does want to play in the NBA still. So he's getting things straightened out. And I am rooting for him because the league is better with him in it. Trust me. Even if I would like to see him just go off in the sunset and the Brooklyn Nets not ever have him, Well, he's a great talent. He's enjoyable to watch, and I appreciate him for his basketball skills. I do not appreciate him for his philosophies or his theories or how he thinks and all that stuff. But I definitely appreciate him on the court. And I am rooting for him to get back, even though it may be actually kind of easier for the Nets if he does go off in the sunset. That this is really the end of it. That Stunted Growth did a piece on y'all's team this week. Go watch it. Stunted Growth on YouTube. They basically did the Stunted Growth for the Brooklyn Nets team. They didn't even just do a player. They said, this is why the Brooklyn Nets suck. And they went through each reason why in the history of what has happened with this Nets experiment with these big three superstars. And they just playing it right as simple as day. This is the reason why the Nets are stunted growth and that they never realized the potential that they had. And they're a huge disappointment as a team and an experiment over the last 4 years or so. So go watch Stunted Growth on YouTube. Fantastic content about why the Brooklyn Nets are a dumpster fire. You can learn so much from that and why Kevin Durant is probably out the door in January, baby. Yeah. Callie's saying, I am torn. If Scotty's ankle isn't good, would the organization allow him to still play? Well, let's just trust. This is all right. We trust in Messiah. We trust in Bobby. We trust in Nick. We trust in Fred. We trust in Pascal. We've got to trust in Alex McKechnie that this guy is not going to let Scotty play if he's not like it's not a good idea. They really do think in the long-term investment of these young multi-million-dollar players that are on contract. They're not going to go and fuck him up for his whole career just for a Houston Rockets game. Come on. So if he's safe and it's a good idea, will they let him play? Now, that's the thing. Once again, we've said that Scotty's very expressive young man. He has his face will show pain very easily, and everybody may be empathetically feeling it more than he's actually feeling it, and that he may be fine. I don't know. We just got to trust Alex McKechnie, and that if this is an issue, Callie, he will say, no, you can't play, Scotty. I am not cleared you. I am the team doctor. And I've looked at your ankle, and it's actually not very good for you to play tonight. So we would like you to sit against the Houston Rockets. And that very well could happen, Callie. But I'm hoping not. I think that he's fine, and hopefully he'll just get to play against one of his best friends, Jalen Green, tonight in the game at Scotty Bank Arena. But that's what I would say to you, Callie. Trust in Alex McKechnie, and these guys are really smart. They're not going to be reckless with this. They will be very much on the side of caution and making sure it is the right decision for the long term for Scotty Barnes' career in the Toronto Raptors. Tom Duke is saying the Raptors and the Rockets have played 52 games in the regular season with 23 victories for the Raptors and 29 for the Rockets. We won both games last year, but only 6 out of 13 since 2015. That is weird. Part of those teams, though, in around 2015 would be the Houston Rockets with James Harden. And those teams we did not beat very well. When he was on the Rockets and he was going pretty good, and he had a couple friends around, like maybe Chris Paul. He maybe had a couple other very decent players. The Houston was better at that point, Tom. We got to remember that they have not been this shitty team like they have been in like the last 3 or 4 years when Houston had Harden and he had like 1 or 2 guys around him all the time. They were actually a pretty good team. So that's part of the reason why that Rockets record is like that. But thanks for elaborating on your comment earlier as far as like, I didn't totally understand. We beat them both times last year, but since 2015, we've only beat them 6 out of 13 times. It could be scheduling stuff like back-to-backs. It could be, like I said, James Harden was a factor in some of that. And I can remember him killing us on the Rockets and us having a hard time beating them when he was playing really good for them as a scorer. So I think that's what it is. Kareem Thomas is saying, I want that wire-to-wire win tonight. And I also want Precious to break out of his funk. Yes, Kareem. You sounded like Monique at the beginning, wire-to-wire win, meaning go out there, get the first basket, and build that maple syrup layer right on through the whole game. Make it 10 points, 20 points, make it 30 points, make it 40 points, make it 50 points. Go ahead, Raptors. Tom Duke and I have a wholesale warehouse full of 100% Canadian maple syrup. We'd like to get it on some pancakes. So go ahead and get in there and play really, really, really well and build that lead so we can just keep pouring it on real thick. And that's what I like too. Kareem Thomas is thinking about not being stressed out and maybe just like he wants to see the Raptors kick some ass, but he also wants to see Jalen Green do some good things. So it's kind of like a balance. So maybe the Raptors do really well, but Jalen Green does really well in a loss. That would be a perfect night for Kareem Thomas right now. It's like Jalen Green has a really good game statistically for his fantasy, but the Raptors still come out with the W. That's the night we want to see for Kareem Thomas, but not too much for Jalen Green. Not too much. All right, let's see what Mike is saying. Next, all right. And I want Precious to break out of his funk too. He on the down low had a really good game in the last game. It's just nobody's paying attention to it because we lost, and he was the only bench player that played well. Mike saying, I'm not putting anyone down. Yesterday, you said they were the smartest fan base in the league, and I'm just saying those people coming over because we played the right help everyone learn more ball. Sure, sure. Okay, all right. I mean, it's just semantics. I think we're arguing here. And yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I know you're not saying that, Mike, and you're not trying to put down Toronto fans as not being as smart as New York fans. I did say that New York fans are the most knowledgeable fans overall in the history of the NBA. But it's like, that's maybe overall with all their fans. Like our fans here, some of them are really casual still, and they're not totally like longtime NBA fans that know a lot of the history. They know Raptor stuff. They know some like maybe 10 or 15 Raptors players over the years, but they don't really know who George Mikan is. They don't really know who Earl Monroe is, stuff like that. And that may be the distinction you're trying to make. Sure, that's true. The average New York fan will have more of a grounding in history of basketball than the average Toronto fan. But there are a lot of fans up here that do know a lot about basketball. So, all right, well, I think we're just arguing semantics. There's no actually real argument here. I think that you're right, and I'm probably right. We're both right. Mike, Monique is saying, is it true Yuta injured again? Notice since being with the Nets, he's been injured more. Poor guy. I've heard that Yuta was injured. I don't know for sure. I'm not paying attention to them enough, but I hope if he is, it's not very serious and he comes back soon. The Nets are in trouble. They're in a bad place right now. They really are. M. Jones is saying, Lex, freaks, what up? It was a rough one last game. Looks like we're having issues with consistency concerning the tone we set on during the game. I do think rotations also play a big part into that. Sure, M. Jones. Yeah, I think the last game, once again, just flat energy. We showed up and we didn't match their energy. They really wanted to win that game. Their record wasn't as good as ours, and they're trying to, they want to be a good team. They've had a hard schedule, the Bulls. They had way more back-to-backs and crammed in games since the beginning of the season. So they've had a hard time in some ways, and they just really needed to get that get back against us. And we didn't want to sweep them as bad as they wanted to get their get back. And sometimes that's just the difference, is the motivation of the team coming into the game. That we came in a little lackadaisical, like maybe, we handled them a certain way on Sunday, felt real good about it, felt like we could duplicate it. And maybe we came in a little like calm or lackadaisical compared to what we should have been, matching them, showing up with a fresh legged Zach LaVine, able to run around, do more. And they had the motivation to try and win this game. Goran Dragic, you don't think he had the motivation to try and win that game on Monday? Different people like Patrick Williams, Jones, those guys, they all wanted to really badly win against us because they did not look good on Sunday. And in some ways, it's like they have to prove it to themselves that they can beat the Raptors because they did not look good on Sunday. And that's a lot of what happened with that. And it's a night by night basis, and kind of like the teams are like ships in the ocean, and it's how they come into the game. Sometimes they pass through in the night on their schedule, and the one ship may be in a different place as far as fatigue because of travel and what their schedule's been coming in against the other team. Now, we both played the same game on Sunday and came to the same place on Monday, but in some ways it's easier for them because they're coming home and we're going back on the road. And we had just been on the road, came back for like a day or two, played that game here, and then went right back on the road. And now we're back here again. So there's a lot of jerking around. But hopefully they'll have a better consistent effort tonight, and there won't be any of this. We could just beat them wire to wire, like everybody's saying. All right, let's see. Mike saying right way, helping everyone learn more ball. Not saying we don't have great Canadian content makers, but it does hit the general fans like Chev does, bringing other fans in. Well, if we want more of an American audience, sure, Americans making Raptors content, it would help. And I'm sure Chev has helped with this. I don't know. I think this whole topic is stupid, Mike. And I once again, I'm not very happy that you're bringing in outside topics that just don't have anything to fucking do with the content that I'm making here. I mean, I understand this is a cool idea. Go ahead and make the piece. on your channel and put it out there, and I'll advertise it for you. But once again, I feel like you're monopolizing your own agenda a little too much in this stream. And please, I caution you to stop doing shit like this. Please stay on topic. And if I'm kind of like, you know what, this is not really, I mean, it's an interesting discussion maybe for one or two content comments, but it's not really very that interesting to be dragged out like this. So I just ask that you have some sort of like uh, uh, thinking about what you're saying and adding to the stream, and whether it's part of what we're trying to do here is what I'm asking you, Mike. Please. I watched your mission statement piece the other day, and it's great. I watched it yesterday. You're talking about it and stuff. And it's a fantastic mission statement. Good stuff. I like it. Raymond Jacobs saying, Lex, what's going on with the U.S.? You happy with the election results so far? U.S. seems really divided to me. Now, see, this may seem like it's not a part of this channel, but this is, because this has been a dialogue we've been having the whole time. Raymond Jacob knows. I am very disappointed in Florida. Florida, you fucking idiot state. I'm so glad my parents moved out of your state. But Georgia's not that much better. I mean, Brian Kemp beating Stacey Abrams is disappointing. They still haven't totally called the Warnock versus Herschel Walker race, which is crazy. Warnock just needs to win that. So if at least Walker loses in Georgia, I'll be happy. Now, other races around the country went really well. Pennsylvania, good job. You did a really good job, Pennsylvania, with both the races, the governor and Dr. Oz, getting the fucking dumbass Dr. Oz out of there. But there's like mixed places, and different places things were good and bad. The red wave didn't happen. The blue wave didn't happen, but things kind of stayed exactly how they are. Maybe it's a little bit of a gain for red, but I don't think so. I think that the blue is still in power, and that everything's going to be fine to a degree. But there's going to be little areas of the world, country that are going to suck, like Texas, Florida. A couple of those states will not be fun to live in, and a lot of people are going to start leaving those states. They're already talking about it right now. So Florida, you go ahead. You were open for business, but you're going to have all your people leaving. And Texas, yeah, nobody wants to live there with your idiot governor and what he's been doing the last couple of years. They've seen how the electricity got turned off and all this stuff that's happening there. Now, Lauren Boebert lost. That was fantastic. But Marjorie Turner Green, or whatever her name is, won. And I don't understand that. It's gross and awful that she's continuing to be around. It's hit and miss. Some of this stuff was really good, Raymond Jacob, and some of it was really disappointing and sad. So, it's a mix. It really is a mix this year. And I tried not to pay attention to it yesterday. I was like, you know what? I'm going to hear about it. I'm going to understand what happened, but I want to not really obsess about it and watch it minute by minute as it comes in. I'm just kind of like, okay, this is what's happened. This is what happened. That's that. So not a horrible, absolutely horrible midterm, but not really a great one either, especially in my home state of Florida. I hate that. I hate so much that Ron DeSantis won again, and then Marco Rubio won also. There's a big mistake by the state of Florida. You fucked up, Florida. You really messed up, and you disappointed me. And that's why, in some ways, I disown you. I don't have to ever go back to you. My parents do not live there anymore. I have no family there. I just have friends there and memories. But I did never have to set foot in your state ever again if I don't want to. And I'm very seriously considering it. So there you go. Good morning, Rapid Free Crew from Cool Cat. Good morning to you, Cool Cat. Always good to see you. Monique saying morning, Cool Cat. Tom Duke saying smart explanation of our record, Lex. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. You got to remember that Houston team was pretty good in the mid 2010s with James Harden running things. Randolph Phillips is saying, blessings, Raptor freaks. It's game day. Hope our guys would get back to their winning ways. Let's go, Raptors. Yes, thank you, Randolph Phillips, with your daily blessings to the Raptor Freak crew. And hopefully we do get a win tonight. Tom Duke's got those drums of oil cans of maple syrup, 100% Canadian maple syrup ready. He's got them on standby. Mike's going to say, doesn't hit the general fans. I'm just going to listen. I'm just going I know, I get what you're saying. I don't know what the general fans are or what they would be interested in, stuff like that. Sure, maybe NBA Chef, but there's people up here. I mean, I don't know, Raptors Digest, Luca Rosano. There's different people. I don't know, Mike. I mean, there's a lot of people making content, and it really is like if you hit a note or you do things a certain way, maybe you can get an audience. But I don't know, Mike. You're talking kind of in abstract. And once again, we're talking about content making. We're not really talking about Raptors basketball. Patrick Douglas is saying the game tonight is perfectly set for Precious and Christian. Playing against a young team will allow a little more allowable mistakes. On Kyrie, disagree with his attitude generally, but not on this. Interesting. Interesting. All right, so let me break this into pieces. What Patrick Douglas has said. Yeah, I think you're right. As far as Koloko, specifically against Alpern Sengun, this is a great matchup for him. This is a young player that hasn't really totally gotten his NBA feet underneath him. That's being a rookie last year. He's in his second year, and he has not had a whole lot of time because he's been injured a lot of his time so far as an NBA player. So maybe it is a very even, inexperienced match between Koloko and Sengun. So I like that matchup, and I think you're right. I'm glad you pointed it out. That is something that maybe we see Koloko have a better night tonight because of this. Now, Precious, in some ways, isn't really like bound by this. I think that he's going to have good nights and bad nights depending on. It doesn't matter if it's a bad team or a good team. It's just really about whether he's effective and efficient in his aggressiveness with finishing, and that is the thing that is the big part of it. Is if he is effective with his aggressiveness against the basket and he's finishing, it could be against the Celtics, it could be against the Rockets. It doesn't matter how good the team is. So Precious is kind of out of that. But Christian, this is definitely true. He could be perfectly set up for a good game because it's sanguine, and he's not an experienced center. And also on Kyrie, you disagree with his attitude generally, but not on this. In some ways, you got to kind of play devil's advocate and say, well, I stand up for freedom of speech. I stand up for the freedom to do what they want to do in some ways. But you also have to say, well, do you have the freedom from the consequences of what you say and what you want to do? And in this way, this is kind of like society saying, this is the line and this is how far you can go and you can't cross this. And some people may say this is arbitrary line or this is kind of a fucked up line or something to get on him. He just posted a link on his social media. And then, freedom people are kind of like, what if I want to post a link like this so they can come get me too? So I understand this argument from that side in supporting of Kyrie. And in some ways, I'm on that side also. But also in some ways, I don't agree with the anti-Semite material that he was putting out there. And that it would have been real easy for him to just say, oh, my bad, I shouldn't have endorsed that. But he made it worse by kind of like being stubborn at first. So it's his bed. He's got to lie in it. And, it's the NBA and the owners and Adam Silver that make the rules because he works under their umbrella. And unfortunately, this is just how it is. In some ways, this isn't actually freedom of speech thing. This is an employee and an employer situation. And that if you say certain things and you work for a certain company and you reflect poorly on that company, it's up to them whether they want to fire you or not. So yeah, it's a tricky situation. In some ways, I very much see Kyrie's side and I stand by him. But also the rights of an employer to fire an employee who is causing really serious problems for the business, that also seems like that is right also. So it's tough. It's not so cut and dry one way or the other. And anybody who just thinks that Kyrie's at fault in this, you're wrong too. It's a little bit of everything all in it. So let's see. Tom Dick saying Precious is due for more minutes in a breakout game. Gary too. I hope so. Let's see it. This is a good opponent for them. Monique saying Precious 14 minutes last game. That's not enough minutes. That's not enough minutes, Nick Nurse. You need to play Precious just like you play the starters. He should be very much just behind them in minutes. If they're going to play 30 minutes, he should play 25. That's how I look at it. If they play 25 minutes, he should play 20. If they play 35 minutes, maybe you should play 30. Mike saying, you understand my point now, clearly. Thank you. I love Canadian content. Okay, yeah, Mike, I don't want to come after you too much. Well, like I said, we just want to stay on topic. Philip Oliver Holes. Yes, what a great name. I feel like I'm Mo at the bar and I'm Bart Simpson just called me right now. Philip Oliver Holes. MTJ is the Wicked Witch of Georgia. Yes. Yeah, I love your joke with your name. And then also just a great comment. I agree with this. I don't understand how she can be in that office. Seriously, she's really stupid and she's really awful. And some of the rhetoric that's directly coming out of her mouth is some of the worst violent rhetoric. She's talking about killing people. She's talking about going after people. She's talking about a lot of violent shit. And that's irresponsible leadership, if you ask me. It is really disappointing that she won again last night. Really, really disappointing. You fucked up, Georgia. Really, really stupid. And thanks for the comment, Philip. Sue's saying an article this morning, and even though Dems didn't have a huge win, they said it was still positive because this is the first time since 2002 there hasn't been great wins by party that isn't in power at the presidential level. Well, this is the thing: the U.S. always has this way of swinging back and forth between left and right, and since Biden's in power, and this is the midterm during his term, that usually means a swing in the other way because people are kind of like pissed off at Biden for this and that. Well, he has been one of the most successful midterm presidents for not hurting his party in the midterms and his term. In fact, it's like historical. So good job, Joe Biden. And actually, on the download, Joe Biden is doing an amazing job down there. There's a lot of things he's doing for the U.S. people that they may hate him, some of them, but he's actually there helping them. And even the people that really, really hate him are getting helped by him. And that's just how badass he is. So yeah, I'm with that. Let's see. And I do want to start previewing the game. I know we're like an hour in. I haven't really even done the injury report. Let's see. Mason saying Raptors need to play fast-paced basketball and good defense against Rockets tonight. Hope Fred VanVleet, Gary, Scotty, Koloko get to a good start tonight. Also, is it just me? Does Flynn do Flynn anything? Get Flynn in there. Yeah, this is a good game for Malachi Flynn to get some time if he can play. But yeah, I think this is a good game for us to really, these games against teams like Houston and Orlando and Detroit, they're kind of like games for really sharpen up and play really perfect because they're going to not play perfect. And sometimes when you play a lesser opponent, you play to their level and you make a lot of turnovers yourself. So maybe what we need to do going into this game as a key to victory is to really, really try and be perfect with not turning the ball over and making the right decisions all the time. We know we can do this. We have the aptitude and the personnel that is good at this. It's just that we really need to do it tonight and not kind of have like what happened on Monday where Chicago was making a lot of bad mistakes, like stepping out of bounds, travels and stuff like that. But we were doing it also. So if it's like the Rockets are the only ones stepping out of bounds and making turnovers by like traveling or just dumb stuff happening, dumb fouls, whatever, they do it and we have a perfect game away from that, we will definitely win tonight. And that is the key to probably us winning on Monday night also is we should have played a perfect game as far as not turning the ball over and really taking care of the ball. We would have done better against the Bulls on Monday. And this could very much be a key to victory tonight against the Rockets also. Mike saying, Lex, you talk facts. So you track fans from another team because you know ball and can talk about the game and players. And I think that's what can really grow the Raptors brand and get mega respect as day oneers fans. I try to, Mike. I mean, I'm not always exactly right. And maybe I am a little kind of coming down too hard on you for this comment stuff. But just I really want to try and rein it in. It's basically what it is. It's not even what you were saying. It's just more like, all right, you're already starting me on this path on the stream that really doesn't have anything to do with my goals for today. That's basically what it is. So, all right, let's see. Kareem Thomas is saying Donald Trump is the most dumbest candidate ever. Herschel Walker, hold my beer. CTE is real, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Kareem, I don't have anything to add to that. That's all exactly right. Andrew saying morning freaks. Patrick Douglas saying, as a political junkie, I ignored the news feed, went to bed not paying attention. That's not me. Thank God for Raptors basketball. I know, man. I just didn't want all that noise. I mean, in some ways, we're in Canada. We're detached from it. It does matter. This is going to affect us in some ways. But also, it's kind of like I don't want to just watch it moment by moment and let the nightmare unfold in front of me or get too invested in it. It's just kind of like I'm going to find out at some point. But I'll just find out when I do. And I've actually been pleasantly surprised with some of the stuff I've been hearing about what happened with the election yesterday. But it's interesting to hear somebody as a junkie, a political junkie like you, did not want to hear it all at all last night either, because it can get a little overwhelming with how much and everything that's going on. And if you really care, you can get really disappointed and sad. Like some good friends of mine in Florida are very, very depressed and very sad about what's happened in their state last night. In some ways, it's kind of like how we felt with Doug Ford and John Tory recently. That it's like we've had this horrible leadership in Ontario for a while and we're going to fucking double down on it and get more of it. That's the same feeling that Florida feels right now with Ron DeSantis and Marco Rubio, who I don't understand how Marco Rubio's gotten away with being in office for so long representing the state of Florida. He's been an absolute garbage senator for so long. And why the fuck do we keep electing him? It's because of stupid ass people in South Florida that are conservatives. A lot of them are Cuban people that escaped Castro and they're just diehard conservatives, but they're stupid. They're dumb. You escape this idiot fascist in Cuba and you endorse a fascist in your state, Ron DeSantis. Y'all are idiots. You get what you deserve in Florida. You want to double down on this stuff. And I just feel bad for all of my good friends down there that do not respect the ideologies of the governor of Florida or the Senator Marco Rubio, and that they have to deal with them being in leadership some more. The only one thing I will say that is good about Ron DeSantis, and I hope that this never happens, this man should never, ever be the president of the United States. The one good thing is that him and Trump hate each other. And that in some ways, DeSantis still being in power will help stymie Donald Trump from being able to run again. And that they are very much a block for each other in some ways. Trump will block DeSantis, DeSantis will block Trump because they hate each other. That's how stupid they are. Is that they were going to mess each other up. So there, in a synopsis, a little bit of that. Okay, Sue's saying, yes, always thank goodness for the Raps, no matter what's going on. Yeah, let's just focus on the Raptors. Oh my gosh. Philip saying, meet my cousin, Phil McCracken. Is this you, Bud? Bud, is this you again? Lolita saying, Lex, money talks in NBA. There's a movement starting that says to boycott anything NBA unless Kyrie isn't reinstated and receives apology. What is your opinion on this? I can see that, and the people have the power. Go ahead. If you really feel that strongly, you go ahead and do that. But I don't know how many people are standing beside him on this. Maybe there are more people than I realize. I do see a lot of chatter on Twitter about standing with Kyrie, but I don't totally get it in some ways. I think that he's complying at this point. So anybody who's trying to help him in this way, you probably don't need to, because I think he's just going to go ahead and jump through the hoops that they've set for him to get his career back. And this may be part of a maturation process for Kyrie, that at this age now, finally, this kind of gravity of you seeing how much you can lose, maybe he's woken up and maybe he's not as much of a knucklehead all of a sudden, because he's realizing there's real life, like life or death implications of things. Like sometimes people feel like they're invincible, they're Superman, they can do whatever they want. And then they run into something that's a real obstacle and it hurts them like this. And they get a little more grounded as a person. So I feel like this may be what's happening with him, that he just sees the whole breadth of everything he would lose if he keeps standing on this hill, and he's waving the white flag and saying, whatever you guys want me to do, I'll do it. And I think that's a smart decision by him. And it's not really that he's bowing to the man or anything like that. This is his boss. And his boss is telling him, basically, you want to continue to work for me, you have to do this stuff, or you cannot work here anymore. And that is basically it. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I don't poo-poo people for wanting to support him and do this. In fact, I support people that want to support people like this in this way. So if that movement's strong and they can get something going with this, it may be too late. It doesn't matter, because he's going to get his career back just because he's complying. So we'll have to see. Mike's saying fair, and yes, less turnovers, but I think a lot of younger guys are going to get burned in the tough stretch we had. I think you're right too. Like hopefully that's part of what we want to do is jump on the Rockets early, maybe get a good lead, and then we have a lot of time for Juancho Hernan-Gomez, Delano Banton, Malachi Flynn. And that would be great, that if we could carve out some time for some of the bench guys that haven't got to play as much so far this season, because it's the Rockets and this is a good game for it. I think that's a great idea. And thank you for the comment, Mike. I'm a fun guy. The Rockets fans have been talking real spicy since that preseason win against us. Yeah, that's right. That's another reason why we need to get some get back. Is the Rockets fans got a little big for the britches after that preseason win, a win that didn't even matter. Didn't even matter. Yeah, you guys had a good feeling. You beat the Raptors, an established good team, in a preseason game that doesn't even matter. So let's see what happens when the game matters. Oh, yeah. And fun guys going to remember, Raptors Twitter has receipts. So you better have that stuff out there, Rockets, at the end of the night, so Raptors Twitter can come find you and give you your receipts back. Yes, Raptors Twitter, you go get those Rockets fans tonight after we kick their ass. Monique saying, promoting 905 home opener. Go support tomorrow night. Thursday night, the Raptors 905 start their season at Paramount. It will be against the Westchester Knicks, playing on Thursday and Friday. Go down to Mississauga and check out the Raptors 905 and support their team. You may see Greg down there sitting at the table at the end of the court, Jebstown Clink. So go say hi to him too. Yeah. Mason saying, Lex hit us with the knowledge about the game tonight. My new nickname for Lex is Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan Raptor Freak. I like that. My nickname for Scotty Barnes is Scotty Iron Barnes. Scotty Iron Barnes. Ooh, I like that. Iron Barnes. Sue's saying, let them have the preseason game. We will take it when it counts. I love that. Yeah. All right. And spitting rhymes. I mean, I know a couple old rap songs that I know really well. Maybe I shouldn't bust that out right now. I want to do the injuries. Let's do that real quick. All right. Houston's injuries are basically this. Jason Tate is listed out for tonight. It is his ankle. And Bruno Fernando, he has been out for a bit. It is his knee. And we should not expect those two. But those are the only two injuries for the Rockets. And it's going to be like Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., Eric Gordon, Jabari Smith Jr., and Alperen Sengun is their starting lineup, with guys like Kenyon Martin Jr., Usman Garuba, Garrison Matthews, Josh Christopher, Tari Eason, Jock Landell. This is basically their bench. And like I said, they're very young and inexperienced. So we have the more experienced team. Hopefully we can show that tonight. On our side, Justin Champagny is day-to-day for his back. He's questionable tonight. Birch has already been ruled out for the night tonight, guys. Ken Birch will not be playing for sure. And of course, Pascal Siakam is on our injury list. So there's your injury report for tonight. Jason Tate is pretty much a good rotation player for them and is usually pretty good for them. Fernando's also played very well for them as a big power forward. In fact, they were part of the reason why we lost in the preseason game against them. So not having them tonight is actually a good thing. Moving on and moving forward, we'll do the ref check now. We have Mark Davis tonight, guys. Mark Davis is our head chief, crew chief referee, Mr. Mark Davis, the guy who screwed us over in Sacramento years ago. He's from Chicago, Illinois. He's in his 26th season as an NBA ref. His favorite movie is Glory, starring Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington. His favorite musician is John Coltrane. His favorite book is Lonesome Dove. He would most like to visit Venice. And get this, Tom Duke, his favorite meal is pancakes. That's right. Mark Davis loves pancakes. So we got to bring that 100% Canadian maple syrup down to Scotty Bank Arena and serve some pancakes up from Mr. Mark Davis, because we are more friendly with him since he's been on a goodwill tour towards our team since he screwed us over in Sacramento. And he's trying to make it look like he doesn't have something against the Raptors. So he is sometimes giving us favorable calls because we all remember how he stole the game from us. And he does not want people in Raptors Nation to think that he hates the Raptors and that he's trying to hurt us. So he is very consciously not doing weird stuff to us. And it's really weird today. All of the referees today have almost the same record for us as they do for the Rockets. Mark Davis, we win 51.5% of our games. So 51.5%, 52% of our games when he refs. And meanwhile, the Rockets win 51.4%. So they're like 51%. We're 52% if you round up. So it's really like 1/10 of a percentage, like 100th of a percentage off between Mark Davis for the Rockets and Mark Davis for the Raptors. So very, very down the line with him. Our second referee tonight is Trey Maddox. Trey Maddox is a good ref. He's from Illinois also. He lives in Las Vegas. His favorite movie is Training Day. Remember we were talking about this? This is the Training Day ref with Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. His favorite musician is Michael Jackson. We've had Trey Maddox recently, and his favorite meal is steak and lobster. Now, Trey Maddox is a very good referee to us. We win 62.5% of our games. So 63% of our games with Trey Maddox involved, we have won. But on the other side, the Rockets have won 61.2% of their games when Trey Maddox is. So it's really like Mark Davis is 51%. Trey Maddox is 61%. And then the last ref is Danica Mosher. The very worst ref for the Raptors ever in the history of refereeing because she's a young ref and we've never won. We've played 4 games when she referees, and we have lost all 4 of those games. Her favorite TV show is Friends. Her favorite movie is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Her favorite musician is Justin Timberlake. And she would like to visit Thailand and own a cat cafe. We talked about that cat cafe before. But yeah, we're 0-4 under her when she is the referee, but the Rockets are 0-1. So neither one of our teams have won with Danica Mosher as the referee. They're 0-1 and we're 0-4. So there's your ref report. There, Danica Mosher is whatever. It's a toss-up. Neither team has won. And then the same thing with Trey Maddox, the same thing with Mark Davis. It's almost like they went and looked and see who has almost the same record for both the Raptors and the Rockets, and we'll put them on the games. So Trey Maddox is the friendliest ref out there, obviously. Mark Davis is going to try and be a fair crew chief just because of our history. And then Danica Mosher. Yeah, she's a very young ref. I think she's in her second or third year, and she's not been kind to the Raptors in the past, but she hasn't been kind to them either. So we got to see what's up. All right, let me see what y'all's comments are after those two there. Mason, that's a good Scotty nickname. He might like Scotty Iron Bars. Scotty Iron Bars. Yeah, we'll ask him how much he bench presses and how much OG bench presses, and then we'll call him Scotty Iron Bars. Tom Duke has got the pancakes out from Mr. Davis and everybody. Let's just get a buffet at the side of the court. Let's get Denny's or IHOP or some sort of pancake place, Huddle House. I don't know. What is it? Cora's. Maybe we get a Sunset Grill, come down there and put out a whole buffet table, just pancake bar. And they'll have all the different syrups. Like you could go to Waffle House when you're a kid. This is me in the South. And you get like the strawberry syrups there, the walnut syrup, the regular syrup, the blueberry syrup. You could take any of the syrups and pour it on there. Maybe we just need a pancakes buffet on the entrance to the court, and maybe Mark Davis will just stop and get a little bit of pancakes before he goes in. Just a little bit of good faith for our referee crew chief tonight, Mr. Mark Davis. Monique saying, thoughts on the Raptors City Edition jersey, Lex? Let's go Raptors. I'm at the game and it's only Rockets. Oh, you're going to the game tonight. Well, have fun tonight, Monique. I'm glad you're going. Yes, they've leaked the City Edition jerseys finally. We finally saw them. They let everybody else's out at the beginning of the season, and they weren't showing ours. Well, they've shown them now. We've seen a picture of Fred and Scotty in it, and it's very similar to the ones we've had in the past couple of years. There's just slightly differences to the font, and it's kind of more rounded in some ways. I guess that's how I would describe it. I don't hate them. A lot of people are sick of the black and gold Raptors jerseys. I'm not one of them. I think that they're cool. I like the Welcome Toronto motif. I like the black court. I like the whole tie-in with Drake and that whole thing. I think it's really classy and it's cool. And in fact, I wish they put the owl more on the jersey in a more prominent way. Maybe that would make it even cooler to put that OVO owl maybe real big on the back or something like that. Maybe you do that in the future, Toronto Raptors. But City Edition, sure, they're fire. They're not as good as other City Edition jerseys in the recent years. They're kind of boring. They're kind of normal, but they're pretty good. I like them. I'm not going to hate on them. They're Raptors. But some people don't like the black and gold Raptors jerseys, but I'm with them. I like them myself. Tom Duke's got that buffet out. I think it's ready. All right, let's see. Tom Duke's saying, I got lots of syrup available. He's got a warehouse out in Victoria full of 100% Canadian maple syrup. Mason saying, I just figured he always wants to play, even hurt. He loved to play back down bully ball. Also likes to play in the post, backing down his smaller opponents. Also, Cascati over the summer, pump iron. Yeah, well, he's definitely pumping iron. And he did put on like 10, 20 pounds of muscle this summer. And he is definitely pumping iron. Like we've seen clips of him doing that. Yeah, he's a bully ball kind of guy. I don't mind this. Scotty Iron Barnes. Scotty Iron Barnes. Maybe you don't even say the bars. Scotty Iron Barnes. Because the bars is in the name Barnes. Yeah, it's interesting. All right, we got crab, goat to go with the pancakes. Okay, so you're bringing the steak and lobster for Trey Maddox also. That's good stuff. Let's see what Danica likes. What does she want? She likes oxtail. She wants oxtail. So maybe we send her to Rasta Pasta in Kensington Market and see Mary and Magnus. Go down there to Rasta Pasta, the best infusion of Jamaican and Italian cuisine at Kensington Market, historic Kensington Market in the heart of Toronto. Go see Magnus and say, hey, Magnus, Raptor Freak says, hey, and go get some oxtail and some jerk chicken. Rasta Pasta. Yes. All right, that's an old ad I do. I used to work for them, and they're good friends of mine. Let's see. Vanessa James is here. Good to see another new name every morning, 9:30, talking Raptors. You can join us every day. We'll be reacting to the game tomorrow, but it's preview today. Wired percent numbers when Houston loses way more than 50% of their games. Yeah. Yeah, they're weird percentage numbers. I just figured it out. You just mixed them around. Yeah, they're weird percentage numbers. And the kind of the weird thing of it, think about it this way, Vanessa. The Raptors and the Rockets have had different times where they've been up and down as teams. The Rockets have been very good playoff team in the early 2010s. So that kind of weights them higher with their lower playing now. And that's why it kind of is evened out. And then you got to take like Mark Davis in particular has been refereeing in the NBA for 26 years. So he's been refereeing every single year the Raptors have been in existence, except for the very first year. And that speaks to why the records are so even for the Raptors and the Rockets, because he refed games when the Rockets were a playoff team and the Raptors were an expansion team. And he also refed games where we were a playoff team and they were a shitty team. So that's why it's so balanced with that. As far as, and then Trey Maddox, he's been refereeing for 13 years. So if we think about that, then it is kind of weird that the Rockets have won so much under him, because the Rockets have not been as good in the last 13 years as we have. So maybe that is kind of telling us about Trey Maddox is not, maybe he favors the Rockets a little more than we think, because their winning percentage over the last 13 years should be lower than ours. So that's kind of the way I look at it. But there, I'm glad you questioned this and we dissected a little bit more in this way. The Donica Mosier stuff, she's just too new. And nobody's won under her. Tom Duke saying steak and lobster with pancakes. How decadent. Maybe you put the steak and lobster on the pancakes, Tom. Flavor palette. Lolita saying, wishing our boys speedy recovery. Yes. Hopefully they'll be back as soon as possible. I like them better than the red jerseys. You like the black and gold better. Interesting, Mason. Fun guy saying Scotty planting seeds, calling him Scotty Farms. Scotty Farms. Was he out planting seeds somewhere? Like, is he doing like some sort of weird commercial where he's like, go out and plant more grass or something? Omari saying the Rockets have like the most wins in the last 13 years with us, Golden State and Spurs. Okay, that's right. I've seen that list before where we're up there with Golden State and the Rockets are on that list, and the Clippers too. They're up there too. So that's part of the reason why. Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you, Amari. All right, let's keep going. I guess next thing to do is the real mascot matchup. The last time we saw the real mascot matchup, the Raptor was in the woods, and he thought a bull had gone away, and he woke up and he's trying to slink away and get away from the area, but the bull's seen him, and he sees him because he's red, and it's like a red cape and a matador ole, and well, the bull has seen him and he's zeroed in on him. He's coming for him, and bam, yeah, he hit him in the ass, and he went flying through the woods. And like, that's kind of cartoonish in a way, but it's actually in real life flying. Like he hit him that hard, like a car hits somebody and they go flying down the street. It's very much similar impact. In fact, the Raptor is up in the air, flying through the air like a rocket. He can't believe the velocity that the bull put him into. And he doesn't know where he's going to land. Like there's a briar patch over there that has a whole bunch of thorns, looks real gross. There's a lake over here. There's a whole bunch of other different like things he could run into or hit, like a tree and stuff. So he's flying through the air. He's wanting to land safely and softly. What's going to happen as the Raptor is rocketing through the air? Will he land safely, or will he land in the briar patch or in the lake or something? Find out next time. The real mascot matchup. Just making it. All right. Last thing, just keys to victory. Listen, we got to outvet them. We have to make less mistakes. Let them make the rookie mistakes. Let them make the young team mistakes. Let them be trying to still figure out their identity and who they are in the NBA and all those kind of things. If Jabari Smith and Jalen Green are not getting along like it seemed like the other day, that's great. If we can really like make their inexperience be a detriment to them by out vetting them today, that would be fantastic and really will help us get towards a win. Mark Davis is going to call this down the line, but he's going to reward, much like Tony Brothers, the team that works the hardest. So if we work hard, we may get favor with him tonight, and the other refs will follow his lead. So it really is, he's the leader of the ref crew, and he's going to determine whether they're going to screw over the Rockets or they're going to screw over us more. And it may be that they're just real even right down the line and everything seems good, but there may be a little bit of ref manipulation tonight. So we're going to have to see. Tom Duke's got the rocket out and he's saying, let's go Raptors. Yeah. So once again, the injuries are Jayshawn Tate and Bruno Fernando for the Rockets, and we have Champagny, Birch, and Siakam on our injury list. And the refs are Mark Davis, Trey Maddox, and Danica Mosier. All right, thanks for joining me today for this preview. I appreciate y'all. Monique saying, eat great stream, Lex, per usual, even though I talked a lot today. I don't mind you talking a lot, Monique. You talk as much as you want and stuff like that. I don't mind. And I don't mind Mike talking a lot either. It's just stay on topic is what I'm saying here. And, seriously, this is maybe a little bit of workshopping content creators, but this isn't really one of my main goals, is to try and workshop content creators and talk about content making and things like this. It's not really under the whole realm of what I'm trying to do. I don't mind doing a little bit of helping with Mike, just a little bit on his channel and stuff. But when we're talking about it just in general, it's like, Mason saying, I like the nickname Coloco as well. If that's okay, it's pretty straightforward nickname, but it makes sense when you hear it. His nickname is No Coloco. No Coloco. Yeah, that's not bad. I like that. I think they've actually said that on the broadcast even. I think that Jack Armstrong might have said No Coloco. I've been calling him Coloco Beware because I have the Coco Beware action figure over here. And I like that beware part because it's really like watch out because you're coming down low, you may get blocked. Coloco Beware. And it's just like the old wrestler, Coco Beware, Coloco Beware. W Stream, thank you, Mike. And go check out Mike's stuff. Seriously, it's so good. And if you do the content on the New York fan base, go ahead, do it. And I really like your mission statement. I watched that yesterday. Cheers to you, Andrew Bishop. All right, y'all, please like, comment, subscribe, share if you've enjoyed my preview today for the Houston Rockets game tonight against Raptors here at Scotty Bank Arena. And I will see y'all tomorrow. We need OG plus RoboCop nickname. Ooh. That just made me think of RoboCop shooting somebody in the nuts. Fun guy saying, trying to decide meal for this game. I've been trying to order Bowlway on the game for good luck for Scott. But the Subway, there's a really weird phenomenon happening with my DoorDash here in my neighborhood. There's a Subway that's listed that I can order from, but every time I order from them, the Dasher goes to the location and they just leave. And nobody's telling me what's going on. And so I get on Google to look and see what that intersection looks like. And there's no Subway sitting at that corner. So somebody has a ghost store, and I think it's some sort of scam they're doing. But either way, I wait for an hour and I don't get my Bowlway. And the game's already starting and I'm pissed off. So I don't know what to do. Do I go back to the Osmos? Maybe I get some jerk wings from the Real Jerk tonight. That's the good one because that's the Real Jerk where Drake and Rihanna filmed that one video. I get the wings from there, and that's kind of the good luck place, fun guy. I don't know. You get some Osmos, get some Bowlway, just get some good luck food for the game tonight. That's what I'm trying to do too. All right, y'all. Let's go Raptors.